Yeehaw!
Yeehaw.
Don't forget to jump on the butt.
Hey,
We got it.
get the energy flowing.
Yeehaw!
I read the news today. I two-bit expose of the same old story that I heard yesterday. Yeah, it goes the headlines, man. They all just go to plan. They'll frame the fixed and breaking. You know the rod just spans. So buckle down for the ride. Across its way under your skin. Just got out from the fixing spot. And you know that you should give me that good news. Because I'm tired of the same old shit.
Yeah.
We could do it
really quick.
We could do a
That is.
karaoke one.
Oh my God!
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the good news. You've got 21.6 the net. That
Good
music
morning, Lisa. Oh, I'm sorry, you're doing
means.
this.
Yeah, no, that's okay. You just keep it. It's your show.
Go ahead, let Kev do it again. Good morning.
I'm a professional. Holy shit.
Welcome. Welcome to the first show of The Grounds. Triple G, right? Giles, Gulp, The Grounds. Of course, today, here comes the judge. And, well, we'll get into that. This is the only show. Sorry, Lisa. I know you're trying to steal the idea, but this is the only show where you, as the outside fan, the viewer, people, click the link, join in, be part of the show, have some coffee with us, and let us hear your beautiful pieces of advice or ideas. Now, if you don't want to use the camera, that's fine. It'll just be a black screen, kind of like Zoom out there, but you can still come in. We can hear your wonderful voice, which is great. And of course, let's not forget that the Grounds brought to you today through the financial support of our friends over at Fantasy Factory. www.fantasyfactorymchenryil.com. It's a romantic boutique located right here in McHenry, Illinois. It's family owned and operated. They are dedicated to catering to all of your intimate needs. They like to think of what they do, I believe, as relationship enhancements for all walks of life. And hey, nothing better to put in our Easter basket than something from Fantasy Factory.
Right.
So check them out at www.fantasyfactorymchenryil.com, 815-385-7399. Visit them at 818 Front Street. Now, it's going to be right across from the public library in McHenry, right next door to the Cannabis CBD shop. Or give them a call at 815-385-7399 and talk to somebody there. Ask them questions, and they can guide you through all that good stuff. Today, here comes the judge. Now, let's roll it over to
Good morning, everybody.
Triple G.
Triple G. All
Triple
right.
G.
It's
Good
Friday. Friday.
Friday.
It really is a yay because it's the end of the week. But I don't know. Is it really an end of my week?
Lisa lost sound. Lisa, you might want to turn your volume up. There's Don. Good morning, Don. How you doing?
Guys.
Good morning, Don. Good morning, Lisa. And my wife is toning in. And she's saying, go Hawks, because I am wearing my Hawks shirt today. So don't judge me.
Really?
Don't judge you for wearing Hawks.
Don't judge me for wearing my Hawk shirt.
I thought that
Support
was
my
actually
son's
some
school.
kind of superhero shirt.
Well, the
So
Hawk
sure.
is a superhero. That's actually my wife's real husband is Herky. Their mascot. She is so love with him. So much.
The reason Peter Galt does not do a sports talk show on this station.
Yeah. Sports with Uncle Pete. Ball.
Not going to happen, is it?
Go
Holy
sports.
ball. Yeah, balls and sports. What do you do with
Sports. Go team. Yay.
Yeah.
Sports.
Yeah.
Go sports.
So
Hooray.
So what's on your mind today, Pete?
You know what? What's on my mind today is over the past week, this week that has just passed, the one most recently expired, is that I've encountered a lot of people, not just one or two, but a lot of people who have felt compelled to share their judgments of other folks. And it's just very, very judgy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it just left me wondering, why do you care so much to, number one, take the time to form this opinion about another person, which really in no way, shape, or form impacts or affects you, and then gift that opinion to me, wherein it does nothing for me. I'm not involved. I have no relationship with this person or these people. I have no connection other than I may know of them or who they are. But what's up with all the judginess? And it just was coming over and over and over last week.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good Lord, look at this. Is wonderful here. We got, not only do we have our wonderful, amazing celebrity guest, Don Severson, we've got, Lisa, Deidre, we've got Friedland, Friedel, what a name. Friedland? How do you say your name? Friedel? Anyway, we've got them, whoever they are. George.
Are you judging?
George Chase. No, I'm trying to say it.
Welcome into. Let's pronounce names for the next hour.
It's actually a good question. Actually, why are people judging you or giving their opinion? I think
I don't. And why was there something about me that made it easy for them or made them feel comfortable they could do that? I don't know. And Nicole Elizabeth, Uncle Pete, I love you. Well, right back at you, Nicole Elizabeth. How you doing? So right back at you to everybody there.
And of course, you can always just click the link, Nicole. Come in and share your love right here online.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get you live with us.
Give your business a little shout out.
So can Friedelmeyer. I'm going to get hung up on that.
File a complaint now with us.
No, he's Friedel.
Please send all your emails to Uncle Pete at 2160.
What does Lisa say there? I think in the uncertain and difficult times, many are trying to deflect bad choices by the masses onto someone else, so they have no fault in it. So the more you find wrong with others, the less it's your fault. Okay, but why share that with me? Because I just don't care.
I don't. Yeah, right. Well, I don't. Right. I think people are just trying to, get, things off their chest. But I think so many people these days are so miserable that they're trying, kind of like Lisa says, they're trying to push it onto you. They're miserable. So if they're miserable, they're going to want to push it off on you and make you miserable.
But why are they miserable with someone that has literally nothing to do with their life?
I don't think it actually has to do specifically with you. I think
not me. And the judgments have not been at me or conducted toward me. It's not judgment of me. I wouldn't even know, and I wouldn't have the capacity to care. I just think of me what you will. I don't care. I am who I am. Popeye the Sailor Man, whatever. But Nicole says, I'll come on live with you guys. Well, do it. Click that link and jump in there. Or if she knows where the studio is, you're welcome to crash as well. That's fine too. Right. Don't mind.
Yeah, come on into the
Lisa,
studio.
Steph, Don, everybody. So, but Don's on business time. No, I mean, you're not on company time. Right. You're on your own time, but you got to go to work right after this, right?
I make my own time, Pete.
Yeah.
How's that?
There you go.
But people are just, a lot of people are miserable these days. They feel out of control. And I think that a lot of them are they're just kind of pushing their unhappiness on other people, and it makes them feel better about themselves. I mean, the whole world is just right now is just so up in arms, and everyone's judging everyone else for what they believe and don't believe. And then on top of judging them, they're actually shunning them. Today, God forbid you have an actual opinion about something that I don't agree with. Mm. Well, if I don't agree with you, I'm, whatever. If you're a Facebook user, click, you're done. No. I'm not going to talk to you anymore because you have an opinion that I don't agree with. I might not agree with it, but I want to hear that opinion because it might make me look at something in a different manner. It could be a great thing.
Yeah, Scott, I think you're raising a good point. I think a lot of times today, we talked last week, I think it mentioned the idea that disagreement equals hate, but it also means disagreement. Some people, if you just disagree with them, they think you're judging them. It's like, no, I have a different opinion.
Right.
It's like we can't even have a different opinion anymore without it being either, oh, you must hate me or you're judging me. It's like, no, I just have a different,
we can't even
have a discussion anymore, or we're either hating somebody or judging them. It's just making it real hard to have everyday conversations.
Just basic conversations. Yeah, exactly. Other than the, hey, how are you? How's your week? What's going on? Nobody wants to chat because it's just, you almost feel like you are judged. I mean, I do. I mean, if somebody asks me a question and I give them my honest answer,
Yeah.
I'm being my authentic self, which is most people these days aren't. You're actually I'm very leery.
Are you?
Depending. I know I don't seem that way come across to you guys when we're here and talking and stuff, but I definitely have a way different view than the world than a lot of people. Obviously, that's why I do what I do. And I feel like I'm being judged all the time for these things.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
and does that bother you?
For me, it does and it doesn't. It just depends. This is kind of weird, but it depends on the day. It depends on the mood I woke up in and what they're just, judging me about, or what the conversation was about. We all have our own lives. We have our own paths. It's our own journey, and how we do it, is our choice. But for me, I've always wanted to, and I know there's no such thing, but I've always wanted to have the perfect life, right? The best family, the best job, best friends.
But like the perfect life for you, or by outward comparison?
I guess it would be an outward comparison. I mean, it's a lot of the crap that people watch on TV. How everyone's always happy, always good, everything's great, so it's not. And I know that life's messy.
Well, it is. Shayna says, have you heard of secondary value? It's the energy perk in an exchange, like a victim mentality being rewarded with attention. Attention would be the secondary value. Okay, that's interesting. Hey, good morning, Silas. How you doing? And Shayna earlier said righteous rage is kind of the in thing right now. Okay, it's so hot right now.
It is a hot topic. It is a hot topic.
A Zoolander throwback reference there.
Right.
So, but Lisa says at the end of this circus, we only have two people to answer to. One is you, and one is spirit. The others won't matter.
I can't go with that.
I appreciate feedback. If I do something that directly impacts someone and they say, hey, I don't feel like that was cool, and I need you to understand why, I appreciate that. I want to know that. I want to know if my behaviors impact someone in a negative way. And if it is, it gives me the opportunity to think about that. And if I care, I will adjust it. If I don't care because that's just where I was at that moment, whether it was good or bad or indifferent, whatever, then I'll just move on. It's hard for me to wrap my head around the concept of people caring about or caring about what people think of you insofar as a judgment, I guess. I mean, when I'm representing 216 the net.
Thank you very much.
I like how his voice changed 216 the net.
216 the net.
Radio voice, Pete.
That is copywritten.
That is copywritten. Yeah.
His voice is?
Yes. I think
trademark protected.
I think a lot of people that feel that they're being judged and kind of care, want to make, and for me, kind of want to make a difference in the world and kind of want everyone to have some unity, right? Mm-hmm. Even though, you need to be an individual, have individuality and do your own thing. Yeah. I think, that the fear of being judged by people is kind of being ousted. If you're judging me and someone's concerned about them judging you, it's like you don't fit into the mold or to the family, or to the tribe. They're, the village. It takes a village to raise a family or a kid, right? So if they're judging you and they're making you feel uncomfortable, maybe, that maybe you are feeling that you're not part of this family or tribe, and you want to be. I mean, everybody, no matter what, wants to be loved and accepted. I don't care if you're introvert or extrovert, whatever. Everybody wants to be accepted for who they are and really not be judged, or at least if the judgment is there, not to be so overcritical that, they don't want to talk again.
Agree with that to a point. You can't go with your thought real quick.
No, I was just going to say, can you give me an example of the judgment that you have heard That may help. I'm not a psychologist, but that may help a simpleton like me. And I know that we've got at least one other listener, Don, that is simple as well.
Well, we
So
got Silas from
Psychology for Dummies. Is
No,
that what you're
Silas is
saying?
from Arizona.
yeah, Silas down
Singapore.
in
I'm
Arizona.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Silas,
Yeah,
and
Gary.
Silas,
I
you're
was
more than
thinking
welcome to
Gary
join
from
it.
Singapore.
Steph Conley. Steph, good morning. How you doing?
Steph, yeah.
And
Shayna's in too.
Yeah, Shayna, I can relate unless I hold you greater esteem than myself. I will keep my own counsel. Is this arrogant or self-assured? I don't know, Shayna, because there's absolutely no one, and this may sound arrogant. There's absolutely no one I hold in greater esteem than myself.
Well, I agree with that.
And I agree. Yeah, I agree. Pete doesn't. Yeah, I agree with Pete.
Because of what you said a moment ago, how can you ever expect other people, like, if people do want to be loved, appreciated, liked, respected, but how can you possibly ever expect any of that to come to you if you don't first love, like, and appreciate yourself?
Well, that's true, and that's one of the big things I think in our society these days. That's a problem because so many people are not, really loving themselves. They're not taking the time to do the self-care and to really, kind of look into the fact of who they are, because now they're having to be what they think they should be based on what the internet, and
the internet told me I should be this
well,
way.
I mean, but just, everyone, like, for instance, and I'm not really knocking Facebook because it's a great medium when it's used right, but everyone's looking at everyone else's life, right? And seeing their highlight reels and thinking, oh my God, my life sucks because this guy's always on vacation, or this guy's got the happiest family, or, you know what I mean? This kid's going to college, or
He's
what have
going
you, free ride.
Kent's going on vacation
So then
next
when you
week.
see that, your tendency is to go, wow, maybe I don't have it as good as I really thought I did. And then you start, kind of second guessing yourself. And when you start second guessing yourself, your esteem will tend to drop.
And Silas says, Don, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm talking.
I was just going to say, comparison is the killer of joy, without doubt. And I tell you, I've struggled with that in my life sometimes. People, your friends growing up with, quote unquote, doing better than you. So, but yeah, man, comparison just kills joy because, and I just, I've seen too many people that looked perfect on their Facebook page, and I knew otherwise. Sometimes that's just to cover up. That's to make myself feel better. I'll make my Facebook profile look better. So I think that's one thing. And then I wanted to follow up on Shayna's comment, which I've never met Shayna, but I love Shayna just from the conversations I've seen her on here. So shout out to her. But the one thing you made the comment about, hold greater, I can relate unless I hold you greater esteem than myself. Otherwise, I'll keep my own counsel. I just wanted to say, Shayna, I've gotten good feedback and good advice from people that like Kent, that I don't hold in great esteem. So it can come from anywhere is my point. I'm trying to make a point. I really love you, Kent, but I was just going to use
Don, did I just mute you?
But yeah, I just feel like if you can be surprised where good advice can come from, I guess is what I would say. And if we're not open to it, we miss good little nuggets that might be helpful for us in the long term.
So did you use an example of the judging yet?
No, I didn't.
I was just curious.
I probably interrupted him.
I was like, did I kind of space out there for a while?
And Silas can relate. Shayna pouring from a full cup. Lisa stays fat for.
So
you moved the thing. I'm
society.
sorry. So she never. Silas, the greatest love of all. Shayna, I appreciate someone sharing a perspective. In fact, it's one of my favorite things. The part that gets ugly is when I'm expected to comply. Mm-hmm. Steph says, when I let people's judgment get to me and put me in a dark place. I found a quote by Dr. Seuss.
Speaking of dark places,
there you go.
Never mind.
Be who you are, because those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter. I live by that.
Oh my God,
I like that too. An example of the judgments.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In 3 situations, it was about fashion or clothing choices. 3. 2 situations was about behavior in public, being out in public and perhaps having had a bit a bit too much enthusiasm and or joy over a certain situation. I mean, why are you going to judge somebody for being
Could
happy?
you use names so I can?
Yeah, right.
I shall not. A third was no. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 was 2, 7 was two people judging other people about their relationships. Their personal relationships. Either one was marital, one was extramarital. But it doesn't involve none of this. Involve
People like to get in other
so
people's business.
freaking what?
Were these like strangers to you, Pete? Some of these?
They're not people I
Stranger
know.
than most.
Well, I know them. They know who I am. We do not have a relationship of any sort other than we happen to know who each other are. Two of the people I know fairly well. All the rest, nah.
So
They were
Odd that
judging.
anybody would give that some of those examples that someone would give those kinds of feedback to somebody that's really you're not in relationship with. I mean, somebody saying something about what you wear. Okay, that's
A lot of judgment I feel comes from insecurity.
well, I disagree
Okay, why?
because we're
behind the camera disagree.
yeah we're programmed. We are programmed since we are toddlers to compare ourselves to everybody else, right? So everything in marketing. Listen, I have opened so many cans of Coors Light, and no bikini-clad women have shown up.
But you keep trying.
But I keep trying, right? So in school, it's not how good you do, right? You didn't get 100%, so you didn't get an A.
100%.
You didn't get an A like good Pete over here. And let's Pete 100%. Nice job, right? So all throughout our lives, everything that happens, we are to compare ourselves, keep up with the Joneses, and not these Joneses. These Joneses are kind of slow, but you know what I'm saying. So we're programmed since we're little. Oh, can you clean your room like your brother? Can you do that like your sister? And all through life, we are programmed to compare ourselves to somebody else. So we have to be able to pass judgment because now maybe I felt uncomfortable. This comes your insecurity, but we're programmed for that to say, I don't like the way that person did that. And I don't want to have to try to keep up with that behavior.
But why wouldn't you just address that with that person directly? If it truly impacts you,
Well-
why wouldn't you say, "Oh my Lord, why on earth did you wear a black hoodie with pink sleeves?" Which is actually really nice, by the way.
So,
Yeah. You're one man who pulls off pink.
Should we turn the camera to him?
and speaking
Look
of
and see
pulling
what's
off
on-
pink, we'd like to thank Fantasy Factory.
Well,
Yeah, well, go ahead. You might
go
as well
ahead.
throw
You
it
might
out
as well
there.
now.
That's right.
Yeah, go ahead and
so
do that.
Fantasy
We'll get back to some
Factory
comments here
is
real
helping
quick.
us out today, of course. The romantic boutique located here in McHenry, Illinois. Family owned and operated, dedicated to catering to all your intimate needs. They like to think of themselves as relationship enhancement experts for all walks of life. Whatever your pleasure, the Fantasy Factory family can assist you in bringing your fantasies to reality. Located at 818 Front Street, McHenry, right across from the library, next door to the Cannabis CBD shop. Check them out at www.fantasyfactoryMcHenryIL.com or give them a call at 815-385-7399.
So
And-
back to Kent, though. So you think we're programmed to be judgmental?
Comparison, at least.
Well, we're definitely comparison. I don't know if we're programmed to be judgmental.
Maybe part of my problem and why I just don't care is you guys know, and Don knows, Don actually is a royal knight of the universe. I made him as such
Wow.
because, you were there with a few other people at the time that happened,
Yeah, I do recall that now.
because I was raised to believe and understand that I was the crown prince of the universe by my mother. So I was above and beyond reproach, even though we were PO, because we couldn't afford the other O and the R. But with that, let's see, we've got a few comments we missed here. Steph says, I don't put my struggles on Facebook. That is my private circle of trust. Lisa says, how did you respond, Pete? To the people was either a
Thank you.
basically a grunt or a or well, that's something.
Just let it go.
Pete was like, no shit, boy. Let me tell you about that person.
You're right.
It's
Well,
that's something. Or with the people who are wearing, I'm like, oh well, good for them. That's cool. I hate wearing boring clothes a lot, but I was in all beige yesterday, and I'm in jeans and
so you fit
and a
the,
green
you fit
shirt.
The, you fit
So-
the mold yesterday of the weather outside.
I was
Dull.
very beige yesterday. Romy Johnson, how you doing? Says never fit the mold. The road less taken. Silas talked about Mother Teresa's prayer. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's long. Amen. There we go. Mother Teresa. Mary Shep says yes, and then Steph says yes. I believe with Kent. There is a lot of learned behavior. I believe that and perhaps mine was learned because of how I was raised and treated. And then Lisa says, yes, especially in America, we are programmed to compete. And Deidre, your lovely wife there, Scott, says, I believe.
Don't judge her. She might not be lovely. Just kidding.
I was being complimentary.
I know.
So,
Complimentary and judging.
Yeah. I believe we are programmed to prejudge. It's a safety measure. Isn't judgment after one has determined their safety just gossip? Well, gossip is that's a big part of judgment. Mary says instinctively we are predisposed to judge. Silas says, I think we are programmed for conformity. There's a remarkable effort for programming conformity. That's certainly true. And Mary says, I'm just narrating the show now, by the way. We've become ancillary, which is kind of cool.
Mary thinks we can't read, audience. I think that's
now remember there are an average of roughly about 800,000 people listening on the radio who can't read these comments at the moment.
And I was just going to say, for all those people out there who are listening on the radio, these people who are typing their comments can absolutely join the show by just clicking the link, and they all wouldn't sound like Uncle Pete.
We won't judge you. You won't, if you come on,
we will not judge. We will not judge.
Mary Shep has a wonderful voice, and Silas does too. Shayna, I would imagine, has a wonderful voice. Lisa, we get to hear her amazing voice every Sunday at 9 a.m. on Lisa's Changing Perceptions right here on 21.6 The Net.
Is it? You think it's possible?
Well, Pete, let me throw some judgment on you, Pete. Why are you so bothered by people judging you?
I'm not. No, they weren't judging me.
Bring that up.
Oh, they weren't judging you.
Judge me all you want. I really don't care.
I thought they were making fun of you.
I'm confounded. I'm puzzled. I'm curious. I'm wondering why it is so important for them to share their judgment of others with someone, with me, because it just kept coming all week.
Surprising to me, it sounds to me as much as like social awkwardness as anything else.
Multiple different people. But it's been a weird week in that regard.
People are wanting to. I really feel people just were wanting to share their unhappiness, or showing that they're unhappy by judging other people, by making shitty comments. It makes them feel better. Oh, look at that guy. Well, wait a minute. What about him? He's doing great. He's fine with his journey, what he's doing. What do you care? Is he really affecting you? I mean, realistically, why do you care if Pete wears beige or you wear black and pink? That's what you wanted to wear today. You look great. Ken's about ready to cry over there, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like
he wore pink. I wore pastel green.
These days, people feel. I think they honestly feel better if they are judging people. If they're almost putting somebody down, it makes them feel better about themselves.
Have you ever read Plato's 5 Dialogues, in particularly the one on piety? It's very interesting. Of course, Plato's super old, but on piety, the basic message of that is that man cannot be pious because piety is reserved for the gods. The gods are infallible. Man, by his inherent nature, is fallible, therefore can never sit in piety or piousness over any other man. it's absolutely absurd and ridiculous for people to do that. Are you is anybody infallible?
Being
any
ridiculous
human
is not. It doesn't matter. Ridiculous is not. It's what people are doing. It's because of how they feel about who they are and maybe where they're at in life.
But so just to kind of go with Pete though, I don't have a close relationship with you, and you're spewing this judgment. I feel comfortable enough to with somebody I'm not close with.
Right at me.
Right. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You probably get it all the time too in your lines of business, right? And but the whole idea is people that you don't have a relationship with are spewing judgment with right,
sharing their judgment.
so that's a little bit of put you in
And
an
it's
uncomfortable
weird.
place.
It's weird.
Well, it is, but
It's like, why on earth did you feel that it was, number one, that I would care, number two, that it was okay to share that with me, and number three, so, I mean, huh? What? I don't care.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to be. In no situation was there, no circumstance was I rude to anybody for doing it. I was just like, or well, that's something.
Right.
I'd say thank you. Have a nice day.
Right. Well, you can't.
Gave you a couple, Mary.
I mean, Kent brought up a good point. I mean,
Hey,
people judging me for like one of my businesses. People judge people all the time that want to use Fantasy Factory.
That's what I was saying, Shayna.
Right.
So am I now guilty of judging people for judging? And here's the thing.
Pretty much.
30 years, I spent 30 years in HR. My job was to judge whether or not people were behaving properly, behaving cliently, compliantly.
Was it judging
Yeah,
if
so
they were
you
doing it?
sit. There's absolutely no way around it. In the profession of HR, you are in a position of judgment. Your job is to judge how people conduct themselves in the workplace and whether or not they are matching up and measuring up to the needs of both. You cannot observe. You cannot judge without observing. Right, you first have to observe.
Okay, then are you really judging, or are you
yes.
forming an opinion?
You have to make a decision. Hey, Mary, how you doing?
And morning, I believe,
Mary.
Hey, Friedel Freelander.
And well, I think it's an attorney's office, Friedel and Friedel.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Friedel and Friedel.
Look who just tuned in on
Mary,
us.
Mary. Hey.
Okay. Good morning.
How you doing?
Wow, hold on. I got to really say this because Friedel actually agrees with me. So that's one of the few things that happens I get agreed to. He says, I agree with Scott. People say stuff about other people to make themselves feel better and take attention off of them. And I really think that's, a big portion of it.
My response is, so what? So what?
What's that?
I would say just so what?
You know what? That's the easy thing to do, but a lot of people don't. They read much deeper into it instead of just going,
your
let it off and move.
So what? Yeah, don't. Yeah, that's. I think somebody earlier typed in. It's kind of how you respond to it. It's like, if somebody judges me for something, I'm like, okay, so what?
Well, yeah, it's about how you react. I mean, everything is, how you react to something.
Mm-hmm.
But
the other problem a lot of times is. Another problem that a lot of people have, and I just had this conversation with someone the other day, is you have to remember the perspective, because your judgments are from your perspective and the same as somebody else's. So I had an incident that I had to coach somebody on, and they 100% didn't think they did anything wrong. And in the technicality of that answer was true. But the perception of it changed everything significantly, because their perception was that they offered assistance. The other person's perception was that they didn't offer enough assistance. And to step back and go, okay, you perceive this as, you get asked this question 1,000 times a day. Where is this at, or where is that at? And you just give this quick answer without having the perception that this is somebody that's never been in this place before. And they need more help than that. So your perception is different. You automatically made a judgment without realizing that this is somebody who has a disability and needed more assistance. So the perception of your preconceived judgments, albeit instinctual, how you sit and process and take the time and have the patience to react to those things is what can make you a significantly better person.
Well said.
Yeah,
That's very well
interesting.
agreed. Beth Myers says one of the greatest movies I've seen in recent years is The Shack. Father who was angry with God after being abused as a child, and his own child was killed. He sat in the judgment seat as he spoke to God during the movie, and it was such a profound moment, and it completely changed him. It has taught me not to not judge others, as we have no idea of their lives. And that's very true. You have no idea what's going on in a person's life overall. I mean, like I really enjoy conversations with Scott. I like Scott a lot. He's really fun to talk to, and I'm getting to know him. I really, really enjoy. I enjoy working with Kent, and I enjoy talking with Kent. He's been a wonderful guy to get to know. But admittedly, and Kent, you were talking about, who were you talking about this with? We don't hang out at each other's houses. We don't go do, I mean, we may go grab coffee or lunch or whatever and do that, but we're not like hangout buds.
Not chums.
Not, no.
BFFs.
So we're like, we're good business partners and like work
Well, you
buds.
guys have different lives and different journeys outside of business, and that's what it's all about. And you can't judge what he does, or
no,
judge
not
what
at
you
all.
Do, unless he's unhappy with what he's doing.
And
he might like what you're doing and judging you for doing it, having the.
I really don't care what he does.
But you know what? So some people,
as long as people keep sending money to 21.6 the net,
we really don't care.
I do feel like some judgment comes out of jealousy. Mm-hmm. Right? So, I mean, I'm jealous of you, so I'm judging you for, let's just say, I do get people that I feel judge me because I'm doing what I want. I'm going out and I'm buying businesses, or I'm starting businesses, and they're jealous that I'm doing that. So they try to, the naysayers, the people that try to knock you back down, be like, oh, don't do that. That's bad or what have you.
Now, I'm not judging. But I grew up in Iowa, and I wouldn't cut dead in that sweatshirt.
Go Hawks!
I'm just letting you know.
Listen,
I thought it was.
So does it help?
Over here.
I thought it was a Batman shirt when you first walked in.
No.
So does it help? Does it help if I say, "No, I'm not judging"?
But you're
no, because we all judge, and I hate when people say that. I hate when people tell me, "Oh, I don't judge." Bullshit.
I'm not judging you, but.
Well, that's like saying, no offense, but I'm going.
All due respect. All due respect.
I honestly do think that judgment does come out also out of jealousy. Because you're not doing what you want to do, or you're afraid to do something, so you're jealous, right? That, oh my God, you're doing that. I'm jealous that you can pull off pink. I wouldn't feel comfortable in pink, so I'm going to judge you. I'm right. So I'm going to.
You wouldn't feel comfortable.
Oh, I'm okay, but I'm using it as.
No, you actually got good skin color. You'd look fine in pink. Really would.
We need to go to
I don't think Kent pulls off pink, but that's just my judgment.
It looks good. We should put him on camera. Here he comes. He's going to put on camera. He looks good. Come on, get behind me.
I look pink, but I'm a ginger, and it's really difficult for gingers to pull off something like that.
That looks good.
Very nice. He's looking good.
Yeah, looking really good there. So,
hey, Scott, I want to go back to your point. You're really hammering this. People judge to make themselves feel better and put other people down. Again, another reason people might be doing that is just the pain they're in. The experience they're having right now might be so awful that the only way they feel better is to do that. And again, it goes to our point. We really have no clue what people are going through, and we assume that we do.
Lisa says, I used to know a lady that would insult you, but then say Jesus loves you, and in some way that made her feel justified.
But as a Christian man, I hate seeing stuff like that because that's the
God
reason
has nothing
people
to do
don't like Christ because of us Christians sometimes. Right. I hate seeing notes like that. But
Don, I like your comment.
We really need to be much better as human beings of recognizing that we have zero clue what somebody's going through at any time, which is why we should be kind to everybody at all times, even when they're being a complete jag. Because they may be in so much pain that's why they're being a complete jag in that moment. Because
oh my God, I agree.
Says nothing about me.
No,
nothing.
It's fun for me because
it's not about you.
Obviously now that I have a show, a lot more people know that I go through more stuff than I post about, and. It's funny because when people come in my store and, some weeks my limp is worse, some weeks it's not existent at all. And I'll have someone come in and say something to me because I'm zipping around the store and I look like I'm hobbling around like a weeble wobble. And they, oh, what'd you do to your foot? How you doing? Oh, no, it's just my same old shit. Just, I'm good. Just, let me go do my thing. I don't want to stand here and explain to you for 6 hours what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my entire staff, like that, it's changed their perspective because we'll hire someone new and you hear them the first couple weeks complain about this, that, or the other. They're tired, their feet hurt, they're whatever, they're blah, blah, blah. And as time goes on and 1, 2, or 3 of my other crew members is like, well, Mary's got this going on and that going on and this and this and this and this. And slowly everybody stops complaining because they start having this perspective of everybody's going through stuff. So you can't, it's like the COVID excuse right now. Well, COVID. Yeah, COVID's been going on for a long time now. You can't use that excuse for your sales or your whatever, your attendance or anything. You gotta get past it, move on, and figure it out. So you can't use that excuse forever. But it's fun to mess with people's sensibilities a little bit when they say something to me, and I'm like, yeah, well, I got a hole in my spine, but things are pretty good. I can't complain.
You woke up this morning, right? And you're breathing,
right?
And you got a
roof
I can walk, dude. That's my win every day is that I'm not in a wheelchair.
Right, but I really think that what Don said has got a lot of merit. Somebody could be going through a real shitty point in their life right now, and the only way to make themselves feel better is to kind of judge and demean somebody else, and that's a shitty thing to say, but I think it's really true. I mean, I found myself doing it. I really have, and I mean, I get caught. I get caught up in that moment and don't realize it till afterwards.
Yeah, Scott.
I'm sure my wife will jump in here and agree with me to a certain point. It's like, like if I'm having a really shitty day or a shitty week, I have found myself to maybe say some things that demean to that other person because it made me feel better, and I catch it afterwards, but you can't take it back.
Yeah,
and it's not meant to really be destructive. It's just kind of. It's kind of weird to say, but it's like an upper for yourself. Oh, I'm not as bad. My life's not that bad because yours sucks, or
Mm-hmm. Well, I found it, Scott, that and this is not easy to do, and I struggle with it myself. But it's one of those things. Why don't I do it all the time? Because it's so much better for me. Is I actually, if somebody does act like that towards me, in some bad, horrible way, I try to make my first thought is, oh my goodness, I feel bad. They must be going through something terrible right now. Because then your response to them is going to be completely different. But
I tell my crew that every day. I always tell my staff that when someone treats them horribly bad or, is that way for no reason, when someone comes in on 10, the second they walk through the door and they're just going to tear everybody apart like a wrecking ball as they go through the store and they walk out. And I've got, an 18-year-old looking at him going, oh, my God, that guy just, said this horrible, horrible thing. And there's some pretty horrible comments. And I said, you just got to realize that there's something in their lives that makes them that miserable right now that they need to, it's like if you get in a fight with someone and you have to get that anger out, you have to get that energy out. And instead of taking it out on their wife or their kids or whatever, they're going to come to some retail establishment and take it out on you. So, you got to feel bad for them at least a little bit, that they must be going through something absolutely horrible inside that makes them, and I mean, granted, there are some people who just are born assholes from the word go, but the vast majority of times someone's going through something that forces them to kind of be that way.
All right,
Bill says, looked up Ginger and there's a picture resembling Peter Galt under stud, a picture resembling Scott Giles. Well, look at you. There you go. Jag. And there's a picture of Don Severson.
He needs to be banned.
Lawyer.
Bill needs to be banned from the show, Kent.
Boy, Bill, you're really trying to change the direction of this conversation, sir. Yeah, are you Bill, judging us?
Yeah, well, hey, he's
well, hello, Bill.
In comparison. How you been, Bill?
Hey, Bill,
Bill the Bud. Miss Bill.
Bill, you can click that link and come in and say those words in person.
You can.
Don't hide behind the keyboard.
Bill.
I like Romy's comment up there a little earlier right there. Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
Right. Well, if you
getting
don't know
to
somebody,
like you,
if you don't
getting
know
to
somebody,
hope you like me.
You don't, like Don said, you don't know what they're going through. So if you don't know them, it's hard to, it's hard to I guess I don't want to say hard to take offense, but if you don't know what they're going through, I mean, if you did know what they're going through and they said something, it'd be a lot easier to understand. Be like, oh, you know what? I kind of get that. It still sucks you said that, but I understand it. I mean, in most things these days, people won't share with you what's going on in their life. That's kind of one of the topics we've talked quite about before, is going deeper with conversations. Hey, if I knew that you were going through some shitty point, I might get it. I might understand. I might kind of give you a pass on the fact that you're judging me or being an asshole, right? Because I know that you're going through something, and it can maybe help you get through it. Share my experience of what happened.
Well, it also gets tiring to let other people ruin your day.
Yeah.
If you let other people ruin your day all the time, you're not going to have very good days.
Right?
Yeah. So Kent looks like he has about something.
Well,
to say.
I mean, judgment is like if you're downwind from a fart. I mean.
It's kind of hard not to judge
Wisdom
that.
from Kent.
No, I'm just saying, right? I mean, these people give that to you, and it's a quick whiff of, oh God, why do you even tell me that? They're like, it smells bad, and then it's gone,
And
It's
then,
like a vapor.
and then it's gone, right?
but
now,
this week was like
but it
walking
might not be gone.
right, but it's
for
not.
me, it was like being behind somebody with the old grandma walking farts.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
But it might
Oh
not
my
be gone.
goodness.
That's
Right.
the thing. Once it's brought
Yeah,
out, once it's said, that's
degenerated
going to
to
be in
this,
your
Mary.
head. You're going to be thinking about that.
right. Well, but that's what I mean. It does make the person who passes gas feel good, and people downwind not so good.
Yeah.
Right. And it helps the person, for whatever reason, who's passing judgment for that moment feel good. It has to. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then it passes.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess.
And now,
But it still stays in the back of their
right
head
now,
that happened.
it's not like you're stuck in a van on a family trip and someone lets one go and you can't put the windows down.
I thought you were going to say down by the river.
Right. To further your analogy, Kent, though, that what people do is they go all day complaining about that person farted in front of me. And they
Yeah,
complain
right,
about it
exactly.
all day long, even though the smell was gone 2 seconds after.
Yeah, you don't have to carry that stink on you. It's not like
it
you're
didn't get stuck on your clothes. It might get stuck on pink clothes, though. So be careful.
just
So something that I always tell everybody, I mean, I suppose I usually use stones as a reference, not farts, but I was traumatized because my mom had no issues farting in front of anybody. So when you're 16 and she farts in front of your boyfriend, when says like, oh, can you give me smokes, and just rips ass, so I have issues with that. But I always tell people that it's the gravity that you give things. So when someone says something to you, or you're going through something, and the weight that you give them, the gravity that you give something. And that's why everybody always tells me, you're going through so much. I'm really not. I have a lot to be happy for. I have beautiful friends, family, a house. I'm alive. I have a great job. I have a lot to be happy for. And I have, transverse myelitis and cirrhosis. So I have two things. But the gravity that you give those things, the same as the gravity that you give the comments that people, and the weight that you let them carry, you either keep them with you or you let them go. So when you give something more gravity and say, well, I have cirrhosis, so I can't drink, I can't smoke, I can't this, I can't eat, I can't this, blah, blah, blah. That's the gravity that you give it. So the same with those comments of, if somebody says something or they're mean or judgmental of you, the weight and the gravity that you give those comments and whether or not you carry them is your choice.
morning, Hal.
That is interesting. Now, Deidre made a comment there, and this it gives me serious pause for thought.
You're going to go
because she says there has
Leave
been
it to my
some
wife to say this one.
there has been some research on the health benefits of smelling farts. Now, I'm curious about that, because do you know why we
See what I go
experience?
through?
Do you know why we experience an odor from farts, whether it's an animal, whether it's a human, no matter what? It is
I don't know.
because
Why?
the odor is actually attached to the microscopic fecal
It's
matter that
methane. My
escapes.
husband and I actually discussed. I can't
This-
believe this is like the
you're
fart month. My husband
inhaling-
and I were talking
When
farts
you
last night.
smell a fart, you're inhaling a poo.
Oh my God! Let's go to the next part.
Yeah,
I'm not
So
judging
I do
for
not
farting.
know what the health benefits would be.
Let's go
From
back to
inhaling
the
a
Kent's
poo.
pink shirt.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's why we double mask now.
Maybe.
Well,
Hey,
going back
you
to your
tell
point
her.
earlier,
See,
Kent,
Ellie's-
She knows. Ellie knows.
Come on up here, right here.
And Kent,
even.
back to your note earlier, Kent,
Already
I'll just
smelling
I'll say what I put in the chat. Put your comments, put your complaints about 21/6 in the note section of your chat.
That's correct.
Ellie agrees that smelling farts has no health benefits. It stinks, right, girl?
Yeah, it's spoken from
there you go.
spoken from a species who smells butts all day.
And licks butts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
See?
she knows.
There you go.
I don't want to even know what that research is, to be honest with you.
Silas says lols.
Yeah,
That's it.
So
All right. Lisa says a response that will catch them off guard is, what about the situation is triggering something in you that you don't like about yourself?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're
that's a good question.
right. That's what I was talking
You
about
might get a smack upside
earlier
the
about
head,
like
but-
maybe it's jealous that they're doing something that you're not. Right? Like they're like I was saying with me, that I'm forging ahead and I'm doing all these things, and I get people that bash me or judge me because they're not comfortable enough in stepping outside of their fear zone to do it. So they're pissed. Yeah. And they figure if they can not try to knock me down, they're gonna feel better. than if they didn't.
Oh no. Deidre, stop it.
They
All right,
think
let's
they think it
wash
could
her
help
from-
prevent dementia,
I've actually heard
kidney
that.
failure, and more.
I've actually heard that there is
So,
a study out there. On
If you become forgetful,
Hang
Smell
around,
your neighbor's fart.
ask someone to do you a favor,
hang around vegans.
turn around and bend over. I suppose. Oh my lord!
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Oh, Deidre, you're one of a
Silas
kind, babe.
says this is what I get for joining you at 5:30 on a
Yeah. You're not going to get this time back, Lilas.
I apologize. You guys can pass judgment on me, but I'm the one who steered this into a different direction.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Kent. See, Mom, my wife says I'm the one that heard it. I heard it from her. I know I heard it from you, and I still, to this point, deny that it actually is. But I just don't understand how the waft of a extra.
Well,
now
So-
does that apply
no.
to your own?
Well, here's
So my
the deal.
question is, who volunteered to be a part of that study?
me,
Well, that's
after
a
a night
good.
of drinking.
They
Who
couldn't
raised their
remember.
hand on that one? Hey, you want to smell parts
yeah,
for the
they
next
could-
30 days and give us some feedback?
Yeah, they
I
could.
wonder if that was a paid study.
Yeah, they couldn't
Right?
remember because
Yeah.
they had dementia, but then they're like, "Didn't I already smell this?" And they're like, "Hey, this is curing dementia."
Oh, God help us,
On
please.
that one.
I,
So the new then treatment for dementia as you age or get into it is a stiff bowl of lima beans and perhaps some
yeah.
baked
So,
beans.
well, here's
She
the
says
thing.
it's
Though.
the hydrogen sulfide in farts.
Yeah. So here's
Yeah.
here's the deal: is you walk by a bakery or you're in the mall and
Right.
and you smell Cinnabon, you're like,
Yeah.
It brings back.
oh man,
Oh,
that
it smells
smells
good.
so good. Now you are in the clothing department of J.C. Penney and you smell that someone dropped ash. You're like, oh my god, that smells horrible. And
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, damn it.
that's
So wait, maybe
You
that's
do
just,
the
maybe
you
that's-
do the second inhale
Yeah,
just to make
just to
sure.
make sure.
Yeah,
you
well, that's
smell
really
what you
bad.
smell, huh?
Or it's like the old, hey, this is awful. You should come over and try it.
yeah,
Yeah,
come and
that's
smell
you-
this.
Human
Hey.
nature, right? So maybe it is giving us some type of chemical boost.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
Maybe-
horrible.
you know
You
what?
got to smell this.
Maybe. So here, maybe what it is, honestly, is we have it's amyloid plaque and tau plaque, TAU plaque that actually builds up in our brain, which causes dementia, right? So
Well, then
maybe that smell is creating some type of chemical. I don't want to say not resistance, but some type of chemical growth. not
Well,
growth,
then
but
maybe the hydrogen sulfide then
right,
is
that's what I'm
cleaning
saying,
out
though,
that
but
plaque.
Right. Well, but it's releasing some type of
And-
chemical that may actually get rid of the amyloid plaques, because amyloid plaque is what builds up
And-
on our brain and actually causes, so you're not getting the proper synaptic firing. So I'm wondering if that
And
actual smell
Patrick-
is burning it up.
Patrick DeGeorge says, think about how long a study that must have been.
Goodness.
Because, yeah, you're going to have to measure, you're going to have to quantify and measure the results.
Right. And they probably have the brain, those little hats.
And
they
what
put
was
on.
the control group? Patrick says, wait, what? Then someone needs to fart around our president. Well,
Oh, let's not go. We're not going politics
We
today.
don't
I don't want
go
to judge
there.
any of that.
perhaps maybe pipe in a little hydrogen sulfide to the stand where he's reading some
Just
stuff.
blowing it right there.
Yeah.
Well, Pete, I just wanted to say, I realize, and Ken, I just realized I'm going to have to practice what I preach and not let things that happen to me in the morning ruin my entire day.
This show better not be one of them there, Don.
We're not over there farting on you. What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm just
As you go through your day today, folks, just remember this conversation.
You're not going to have to mention
If it doesn't
smell
make
your
you
neighbor's
laugh,
fart.
It'll bring a smile to your face.
please don't pass judgment on 21-6 the
I
night.
hope,
Yeah, you can-
I hope it makes everyone laugh.
I am-
Get their day off to a good
Boy.
laugh, because that's as funny as it seems. And actually, I think there is.
And
some
I tell
truth
you
to it.
what, I was telling a particular potential new advertiser, "Oh, you should tune in tomorrow." I don't know if they're listening.
Potential being the key word now, right?
You'll want on,
You know.
you'll want on even more now.
Yeah, maybe so. I hope so. Hopefully they're
We
laughing.
They didn't know they would get medical advice when they came in today, did they? Pete?
Silas says words matter. You're very correct, Silas. Words do matter, regardless of what we may be going through and whether we are affirming or judging. We are responsible for the impact of our words. Be
Thank
kind
you, Silas.
always. This is very true. George Chase. Hey, this segment really stinks.
Exclamation point! Wow. All right, yeah, we definitely got
Thank you,
off
George.
track, but
It was Shayna, the comedic stylings of the grounds, lols. Yeah, and Patrick was the potential
There we go.
advertiser Beano. No, it was not, but perhaps
Yeah.
we should send them a clip of this.
That's right.
right, you might get a lot more hits on YouTube.
Wow.
Oh, you don't want
See,
Beano.
Ellie agrees.
Ellie agrees.
So.
Ellie wants to go potty and get rid of some of her get
That's
rid
right.
of some of her smelly poop. Come here. Let's say goodbye to everybody. We're almost at the
We're
end of
almost
the hour
there.
here.
Yeah, we got what,
About
5 minutes
About
here?
5
Oh, that's an eternity. 5 minutes.
Five,
The
yeah.
last 5 minutes wasn't it, Mary?
Right.
Happy Friday, George. Yes, we started with some curiosity on judgment, and we had some incredible feedback here from everybody, and some wonderful words of wisdom, and then we talked about farts.
Well, it was
So-
my fault because I said, passing judgment is like
right.
standing
That's
downwind.
Well,
So
but that's okay.
right. Well, the one thought I want to leave with everybody today, based on this conversation, because I love the conversation of judgment, is really think about what you're going to say before you say it.
Yeah.
Right. So you're not hurting somebody or offending somebody, because of maybe something you got going on in your life.
Mhm.
Realize that everybody's got shit. I mean,
Yeah.
and appreciate that. Hey, maybe your shit's not as bad as theirs, right? And be kind to them. Don't make them feel like shit because they're who they are and they want to do
Yeah.
what they want to do. I mean, if they're not hurting you and they're not hurting anybody else, and it's what they want to be.
It's what they want to be,
So
how
be
they
it.
want to behave, how they want to act, what they want to do
That's
in
what I
life.
tell everyone at Fantasy Fest.
Listen, I think it's okay to pass judgment. Just don't share it with people you don't really know, or you know what I mean?
Well, and that's the thing. That's what made it weird for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Really. I mean, a couple of the people that I don't know them. They're not like, I don't know them. Actually, I don't know them as well as I know you, nor do I know them as well as I know Kent. But we've had more than a conversation or two.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
But you didn't feel you were in the right space to hear the judgment.
No, not at all.
You were not part of the
I was
jury.
not part of the jury. I was not part of the equation in any of these conversations.
Yeah, that sounds like it was just more people just being socially awkward, just not
So-
even know how to communicate. And to your point, Kent, when you said, we do pass judgment, but I think the difference is there's judgment and then there's just sharing feedback and providing your input in a discussion with somebody that you have a relationship with. Those are totally different things. But
Yeah.
sometimes they get mashed together as, but if I, make one comment about something that maybe I disagree with you, all of a sudden you're judging. No, that's different. But again, if I walked up to somebody in the grocery store and I'd never known and I don't know and said something about what they're wearing, that's not only judgment, that's just stupid.
What's the old saying? Those who live in glass houses shouldn't walk around naked.
Exactly.
Shouldn't throw stones.
Throw
Yeah, we don't
stones.
want them to walk around naked either.
throw stones. Yeah, shouldn't walk around naked either.
Do what you want in your own house. I mean, if you're the one who put up glass walls, that's on you. Shayna says, I was wondering who you were referring to that had to go poop.
That's my
That's Ellie.
dog.
That's Ellie.
Oh,
Ellie.
yeah, no, we
Yeah.
don't have a, well, we have a guest.
Ellie's the station
Ellie,
head
come
here.
here. Let's say hi to everybody.
Right.
Come on. Hey,
The station manager needs to poop.
That's
Let us
the
pause
station manager,
for a
right?
few words. And Lisa says, Pete, you have comfortable energy, so people feel free.
That is true. I believe that.
People, I get life stories all the
They're just so
time.
snuggly.
I get,
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
comfortable.
Your
Snuggly.
Uncle Pete. Your Uncle Pete.
It's Uncle Pete.
I don't know how people would refer to me as snuggly because I am
I
not.
was
I wouldn't describe you as
approachable,
snuggly.
yes. Snuggly,
think-
maybe not so much.
I think so.
Well, hey, Hugh Knight and his wife thinks he's snuggly.
That's right. I think
And that's
so.
all that matters, so don't judge him for that, right?
Well, she's the only one that gets the snuggles if she
Not
wants
all
them.
your animals?
Lord no.
Yeah. Good God.
Next week on the grounds.
So,
That's right.
Right?
hey, I just real quickly, Dad, good morning. Love you. Love Mom. My
Yeah,
parents
thanks
are
for
actually
tuning
listening
in.
today.
Appreciate that.
So
Oh,
maybe
hey.
next
Friedel-
week I can get
Friedel
them to
and
come
Friedel.
live. Yeah, Friedel and Friedel.
And what was your dad's name again?
My dad's name is Bob Giles.
Bob.
Palindrome. Bob. B-O-B.
Bob.
Bob.
Well, Robert
It's you, Bob.
specifically,
Bob.
but Bob, the palindrome we were talking about. So
Yeah.
at least you'd never spell your name wrong.
Unless you went OBB for some reason.
Oh, that could be.
O-B-B.
Ob.
No,
You
Love
just
you,
forgot
Dad.
one day.
everybody, thank you so much for all your comments this week. I think this week's show was awesome. Don't judge people. Go out there and be authentic. Be yourself. But love everybody.
Be yourself. Everybody else is taken. It's too much work to
Everyone
try to
else
be.
is taken.
Yeah. So
Give me some.
All right,
good
for
news.
all of
Love
us
you
here,
all.
21.6, the
Mary,
net. Thanks for
good
getting caught in the
seeing you,
net.
Don.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
being
so
part of
much.
the show.
Yeah.
Come back in about a half hour for bridging civil tension. A lot to talk about this week on that one.
Have a wonderful week, people. Go out and tell somebody something positive today. Stop the negative shit.
Have a good one, guys. Take care.
Love you all.